KZN police spokesperson Brigadier Jay Naicker for information on exactly the plan of action. Good morning, Brigadier. Can you hear me?
Good morning, yes.
Fabulous. We've just seen footage from Durban, the M19 being blockaded by protesters, tyres being burnt on the road, and as vehicles approach the blockade points, protesters hurl what look like rather large rocks at vehicles. We know that 13 people had been arrested up to yesterday. Can you tell us about the figures as they stand on arrests of protesters related specifically to the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma, and why police are not arresting protesters this morning?
Yeah, look, at this stage it's very challenging for police officers. When they approach these suspects, they hurl rocks at the police officers. But what we've done, and even yesterday, we identified them because the police officers were able to see them, and we were able to locate them in the informal settlements where they were living in. So a few protesters have been arrested as they were identified by the police officers that responded to those incidents. In Ipangeni, where there was a blockade, there was a total of 19 suspects arrested altogether by police officers in that area. And we told that in Moy River, they arrested 7 suspects last night for the looting and the burning of the truck.
Unfortunately, these arrests come after millions of rands worth of damage has already been done to infrastructure. We've seen 25 trucks burnt at the Moy River Toll Plaza. And our reporter Sipa Mandla Gorge rightfully raised the question, having intelligence about protests. Protesters have been very vocal in the past week saying they are going to disrupt infrastructure. Why were preventative measures not put in place?
Well, we have police officers stationed along or deployed along major routes and key points within each district. However, in the area of Bruntsville, or Moy River, there's a community of Bruntsville that lives just above the Moy River Toll Plaza. And what they would do is they would roll burning tires into the road, and that's what they did last night. They rolled burning tires into the road, and these tires obviously went into the trucks, and that's how the trucks got alight. However, police, as I indicated, responded, and they were able to arrest 7 suspects there last night.
Brigadier, is the South African Police Service avoiding a conflict with, protesters in KwaZulu-Natal? Is this why, there is not necessarily a heavier clampdown on these protests and the protesters, and that we're seeing arrests coming in the manner that they are? Are you avoiding having to clash with protesters?
Look, police officers need to assess the situation. As we said, we wouldn't want unnecessary deaths to take place. If it's possible to arrest the suspects immediately, they will arrest them immediately. If not, they will trace those suspects, as we did last night. Some of the suspects were traced to the informal settlements from where they came from, and they were arrested at their homes.
Brigadier Naicker, I'm going to raise a question here that we've seen in previous situations, a heavier police presence, nyalas, water cannon being used, stun grenades being used, rubber bullets are an everyday occurrence in South Africa. It seems glaringly absent in these protests. Why?
The protests are taking place across the province, so we have to stretch our resources. It's the length and breadth of the province, and KZN is very wide. So it's not taking place in just one area. These incidents that you are seeing are just a few. We have police officers stationed far up to the north, where there are blockades taking place, and far to the south also. So we cannot group the police officers to one specific protest action. We have to spread them out.
Does this then not speak to an issue of resources, Brigadier, that we clearly do not have enough in this country, not just in KwaZulu-Natal?
So we're working with other role players in eThekwini. We have the Metro Police that is assisting us. We even have the road traffic inspectors that are assisting us, and we're working jointly with them.
So where to from here now, Brigadier? These protests are happening. They've sparked again. We're seeing one happening now, of course, in eNCA, where our reporter, Letu Mdluli, is. And we've heard from our other colleague, our senior reporter, Siphamandla Koke, saying that there are protests in other parts of KwaZulu-Natal, which you yourself are saying you're trying to cover and to deal with. Where to from here now? What can we expect the SAPS to do from here?
We have mobilized all our police officers. We're even calling police officers that are on rest days or on leave to be deployed along our major routes and our key points. We are also focusing on the enforcement of the Disaster Management Act, especially with regards to people that are convening illegal gatherings and not observing our curfew regulations. So, as I indicated, a large number of police officers have been, a large number of people have been arrested for criminality. However, we have registered cases in those incidents where there haven't been any arrests, and we are going to trace and arrest those that still have to be arrested.
So the N3 is one of the major arterial routes for trade in South Africa. Longer closures could mean serious impact for our economy. In terms of preparing for further protests into the weekend, into the early parts of next weekend, what is the possibility of calling in the SANDF to assist you if you are under-resourced in the province, or calling in police resources from other provinces? At the moment, the message being sent to protesters seemingly is that there is a lack of capability on the side of the police to address the situation, which no doubt is going to encourage them to continue with these protests. There's no reason for them to stop if they're not taken into control.
No, look, as I said, we are mobilizing more police officers, and if needs be, we will call for additional police resources from other parts of the province. We are also calling on the other policing agencies in the province, including the Road Traffic Inspectorate, to assist us in patrolling the N3. So we definitely will be stepping up operations along these areas where it seems to be more problematic.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Brigadier Jay Naicker from the KZN Police, giving us an update on police activities related to these violent protests.